Alright, what's on the docket this week? Uh, we just did a secondary, right? Melee, Sun and Moon out of those options if we're going for the quote-unquote worst. But primaries, if we're doing rotation, we should probably go with primaries. Santa is alright, the Corinth is, like, going to vary, but probably in the top 5 of shotguns at least. From a semi-objective standpoint. It's one of my favorite weapons. The Javlok. Yeah, that's a piece of garbage. So we'll do that one as is tradition. Uh, and Warframe. Well, Corvex doesn't really have any applicable particular usefulness to a weapon to make it better. Sight 9 is for precision weapons. This thing is a explosive, so he's kind of out of the chuck too. Revenant is, well, we won't have trouble surviving. He does have a damage buff. It's very kind of but for the primary weapon, so I guess we'll do Revenant. Of course. Some comments. I'm absolutely aware that there's literally just a randomize button sitting here in the loadout screen. And we could just do that. Limbo and a Taikyu would actually be an interesting combo of itself, but the idea of Archimedea is just to pair a Warframe with a weapon and kind of do it within the context of choosing an option that will actually have some vague sort of combination potential. Whereas it's this thing that it has aspires to be a weapon from the franchise Stargate.
Ordis has been counting stars,
The
operator.
bad guy.
All accounted for.
Say his name and he appears, even though it wasn't his name. But yeah, basically spear guns. If you're not familiar with Warframe, they're big old sticks that shoot things, and they typically have an alt fire where you throw the spear instead. Fortunately, they've changed them so that throwing the spear just generates a new one in your hands, even though you threw it. You used to have to go actually pick it back up again. The blueprint here is as such. It comes from the Grenier Chem Lab in your clan's dojo. All that stuff is relatively easy to find. Detonate injectors. If you're having trouble, you can get them from the Invasions tab. Nighting comes from Nightwave. And the Javlok capacitor drops from prosecutors who will spawn on the maps in series. I think parts of Sedna, but don't quote me on that.
Operator. Now get out there and
cut down the...
and make the Lotus proud.
Yeah, that wasn't. If you're looking for invasions, they're up here. Grenier ones are usually where you get your detonite injectors, which there are currently none of. Oh, here are some. Yeah, if you fight on the side of the Grenier here. And then you'll just get 3 detonite injectors if you do all 3 missions. Once this battle theoretically ends, worry about Revenant. Yeah, I haven't touched this in ages, if that wasn't obvious. I don't remember what the throw on this does. Alternate file throws it to consume the entire magazine and increase. It causes a heat explosion. Damage is increased by 20% for each round in the magazine when thrown. Oh yeah, it's a fireball. I remember this weapon from ages ago because I made the joke about casting fireball when I was a new Tenno, and this was, so it's going to be doing heat or blast or gas. I'm interested in what play Rammate might work on it. Because you throw the thing and it consumes the whole magazine. You can test that in the simulacrum and report back on it. I feel like, yeah, just make it blast. cold will give us some crowd control, which could be nice. Explosion radius. Galvanized chamber. Yeah, the throw has multi-shots, so that's good. Aptitude won't work because it's explosions. The other element would be electric and talk. Corrosive cold, corrosive blast. It's got alright status. Could also throw that magnet thing in. What does the magnet mod do on primary? Magazine capacity. Increased by 20% for each round of the magazine when thrown. So that should just make it better. Okay, I think we got some stuff going on here. Can I put semi, or does it not consider that? Doesn't like cannon ed. Okay. Oh, because it's charge weapon, not semi-auto. I'm a silly person. Status damage, crit damage. I feel like we should get some status chance in here, but we'll get to that in a second. Crit damage and status chance? Don't have enough capacity. Alright then. Well, let's go check something out. Alright. Throw the thing that does 938s and 406s. Primary played round did trigger. Yeah, so printed round is working. It's giving us a 94% when we do that. Ron. I'm wondering because Murray's Merciless will go all the way up to goes up to 30%. So play around even with the shitty lower version we have is better. If we're oh no, that stacks up to 12, so that goes way higher if we're getting regular kills. Yeah, this doesn't stack, that's the problem. Okay. No brainer. Anyways, I'm gonna go work on this. We'll see you in a bit in the video here. And come back when we got another format to do. Heat. So this would actually give us 80% heat. This one gives us magnetic and 40% heat. Higher damage, but I think it was messing with status weighting. Magazine warp, which is kind of garbo, but oh, it won't let me upgrade that because I'm in the simulacrum. 1 second. There we go. That's such a silly rule. I don't know why you can't do it. I'm sure there's some technical reason, but yeah, 30%. So that adds 40% heat. That would be less than having wildfire. This adds 60% heat, which is less than putting wildfire. Because this is 60% plus the other bolt is 80%. What did I say this one was? 60%. So yeah. That's as much as we can really do with the magazine stuff. Less tainted mag. What is the top? Just gonna do a quick check on the wiki here. Tainted magazine also didn't come up when I searched for magazine capacity. Silly glitches. That caps out at 66%. Which would be adding 3, so it would be the same as the whichever one it was. This one, I think. So yeah, that's the best we can do there. Our base damage is coming from to and Revenant and the Merciless. This would give us a lot of status chance, but it only affects the I don't think it affects the explosions or the hits with the throw. We don't have Bane of the anything, right? Yeah, that's not prime, so it's very minimal. As far as I know, there's no prime Bane of the Murmur or the Tech Rod or the Scaldra. Feels weird to just try and throw more raw damage in. Guess we just go multi-shot. That's like your classic. Let's commit to the V polarity though. I can't quite fit that crap in, so throw that version there. Because we can get the multi-shot up to a guaranteed 2. It's going to give us a lot more consistency. Alright, that's the fake terminal. Kill something here first. Oh, they're all heavy gunners. That's what's wrong. That's the big thing. We're gonna have to ramp up this shit. We don't have base damage. Also, Slumbering Fragment is very interesting in his hitbox. Let's do the experiment because they need to turn their AI on. A lot of variance in the damage that I do not particularly like. I assume is our stacks going around. Now they're all on our side, so. This does not bode well for our odds of success. But we'll see. Back to the former mines.
How I feel about that.
Thanks for your input, Technosite, man. So yeah, I'm not thinking... We're getting decent amounts. I wonder if maybe I just want to abandon the throw method entirely. Which would then mean we'd want to do stuff more like in line with this. And probably electric? That's a whole nother deal, so we'll come back around to it. Right, so mucking about and doing some research. The galvanized aptitude is multiplicative on the regular shot and the spear hitting things, just not on the explosions. I was kind of wondering if maybe we just want to not try and use the explosions. That'd be a whole different build, and it's not seeming to be terribly effective anyways. So we're kind of messing about with this. The obvious thing is where am I putting? I'll put the dash in here. Might live to regret that, but kind of on here I like multi-shots or elementalist. We don't have guaranteed status. That's why I'm hesitant about elementalist. It does not have a guaranteed heat proc either. That probably would tip it over into the range of elementalist, but it's any tip D if you're looking to buff the Javlok, make that a guaranteed heat proc. So I'm thinking we just throw a vigilante. The math with the magazine capacity stuff, when I looked it up, it's actually worse than it sounded even. Because it's like an elemental damage modifier, but it's just weirdly, it's not like it doesn't combine with your other elemental damage properly. As I said, it's very strange. So we got something like this. Now this is kind of trying to use the main fire. We'll bring in some air. Yeah, like we're starting to get more utility out of the regular fire than the throwing thing. Can throw it at big groups. I wonder, since it's basically running a full build, what happens if we make that the steel path? So we might have something going here. A real mission, we would be dropping our damage bonuses either. Because enemies would keep coming, in theory. Might have a winner here, but I'm gonna go level this up so I can get some excellent stuff for at least like a vigilante boost or something, maybe. Ooh, spooky.
Incoming assault. Respond and repel.
Well, here goes nothing.
Expect updates. Move.
Do that. Wow, those are incredibly annoying. Anyways. Wait, how did you hit me? I would be silly and not turn my thing on. Get some boys enthralled. So we can start getting some stacks here. I would appreciate this being a little faster, but need some more guys enthralled. Yeah, as long as I can keep up the merciless stacks, this actually works. And ideally, if my thralls all keep, you know, up. So yeah, my week did not go well, but so I never did get to put the Exilus mod in there. Obvious one is going to be Vigilante Supplies, because sometimes you'll get red crits every 20 shots, or on average. You could also put this if you want some projectile speed, just to make it easier to aim. But yeah, this was what finally ended up doing the job. We can pop over to Revenant. Key thing in here, Thrall Pact for the primary weapon damage. Oh, and the Arcane Acceleration. And then good old Emulator over here. He's of course doing reinforced and tenacious bonds. Kind of a standard thing to have if you're gonna build a weapon platform. So that's the Javlok done. We're all set to roll over now and see what the hell we're doing next week. Till then, if you have enjoyed this, consider dropping a like, comment, subscribe, all that sort of fun stuff. I'll bring in some tech rot just to check that out too here for you. These guys are gonna go down even faster though. And we'll see you next time. Enjoy.